This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 13 of the Wisdom by WESA show on the Horse Radio Network. This is Mike Donnell.
This is Casey Wilbanks-Coletti.
And this is Sophia Aguila. Welcome to the Wisdom by WESA podcast on the Horse Radio Network.
This podcast is brought to you by the Western and English Sales Association, WESA, which produces the world's largest trade events for retailers, manufacturers, and sales representatives of the equestrian industry. In this podcast, we feature exclusive interviews with noteworthy Western and English personalities, retailers, and exhibitors who you've always wanted to talk to. Don't miss out on all the news for manufacturers and retailers in the equine industry. You can listen to Wisdom by WESA on most of your favorite podcast players. You can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. Just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and it's super easy to use. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Sophia, welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm great. It's great to have you on with us today and fill us in on your little report that we do on every show. So is there anything new that you have to tell us about this upcoming WESA market?
Yeah. So we are reintroducing the fashion show program, which you can get more information on during the next episode. And then we're also extending the shopping hours on Monday, January 14th. That's our last day from 1 p.m. to actually 3 p.m. And then we're also distributing a What's Happening flyer to keep retailers updated on all the events that members host at their booth or showroom.
Well, 2 extra hours of shopping is important to everybody, right?
Yes.
Especially me. But anyways, well, tell us more about this What's Happening flyer.
Yes, we don't want retailers to miss out on any events that are being offered. And by events, I'm not just talking about the events that WESA puts on, like the product presentations that we talked about in the last episode, or the opening night entertainment, but also events that exhibitors offer. So the kind of events range from lunch over celebrities and endorsees, parties, to market specials and giveaways.
Where can the flyer be found?
You can find the flyers all over the Denver Mart, for example, at the entrances, but also on the WESA app. It'll list all the events and where to find them.
Awesome. Well, your tidbits are always very helpful. If you don't have anything else to share today, thank you. And we'll just get right on to our guest for today.
When our next guest, Renee Gabet, was thinking of a name for her new line of fragrances for women, she recognized that Annie Oakley's persona represented the same traits as her company and the Western world: hard work and a commitment to excellence. That was in the 1980s. And today, in addition to women's fragrances, the company develops and markets men's fragrances, natural oils, jewelry, and equestrian products. Renee joins us today to review her firm's interesting past and vision for the future. Renee, thank you very much for spending some time with us on Wisdom by WESA.
Thank you for having me.
For our listeners' benefit, Renee and I had a great conversation a few days ago. It's a fascinating company. It's an interesting story. Here's what I'd like to do, Renee. I'd like to talk a little bit about the company today, because it's very important for people to know all of the product lines you are offering. Then we'll go back and we'll catch up on some of the interesting history. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about your product lines that you now have available to retailers and through them to the public.
Okay, we have our women's fragrance collection, and we have a men's fragrance collection. Now, these fragrance collections were created for the horse and rider. We use essential oils in our perfuming. We launched first cowgirl fragrance back the 80s, and at that time, natural perfuming was a lost art. And so we were using essential oils before anyone even knew what essential oils were. However, us as perfumers understood the effects, the wonderful effects and wellness that it had for not only the rider, but for the horse as the rider is riding the horse. And so we launched our women's collection, Annie, Indian Musk, and Morning Dew. And then we expanded into other women's fragrances. Then we launched the second cowboy fragrance in the world, which is Stampede. And then we brought on our Sagebrush, and then our newest, and we have our Wild West for him. And then our newest is Blue Ridge. And we just recently updated our packaging and put them in beautiful bottles that are stir-up designs. They're very pretty. And then we have also our Journeys for Horse and Rider collection, which is our calming lavender muzzle oil rub. That is a beautiful blend of organic botanical oils, and it has our calming lavender, which is very pure. It's a very pure essential oil we add to that, and it helps train the horses. And we have a pamphlet that explains how to use that. We also have our calming lavender in the ranch and stall spray as well, where it can be sprayed on the blanket around the stall area. Also, it can be used for the rider to spray in the home and on linens. And the muzzle oil rub is also good for the skin, anti-aging, and after bath, so the rider can use it as well. Then we have an exciting new product that we brought out with our essential oils. Our essential oils are very high constituents that are in our essential oils. And we have some proprietary blends that we put together, and we created Don't Touch Me, an outdoor body spray. And this is for keeping away mosquitoes, ticks, no-see-ums, flies, especially biting flies. And it's 10 times better than DEET. It's all natural. It's child and pet safe, DEET-free. It's non-greasy. We sent some out to the National High School Rodeo, 100 bottles out to the delegates, and they loved it, and so did the horses. And it keeps the flies away. All you have to do is just spray it up and down the back of the horse, and it's just a wonderful product. And then also for the rider as well to use it outdoors. What it does is it puts a veil. It's we call it a bulletproof veil. One of our customers in New Mexico, one of the dealers in New Mexico, wrote us a letter saying that they walk their horses and the flies and the bugs are terrible, and they put it on. It was like a veil on top of them. It's like they could see all the flies and the bugs around, but none of them came close to them. So it deters the bugs and the flies. So they were able to enjoy walking and riding the horses in the evening. And then we do have a full line of pure essential oils that are pharmaceutical grade, and we have them in bottles that have true drops to them. We designed the bottles especially for our essential oils, and we call them eclectic remedies. And this is after the eclectic physicians, where we pulled that from Annie Oakley was in Ohio, and that's where the eclectic physicians were located too. And they traded with the Indians on the river for herbs and spices for medicine. And our essential oils we don't encourage any ingestion of the oils. And also we do encourage that you use a carrier oil. And we do have a pure body oil that's a beautiful anti-aging oil. And we have probably 24, 25 different blends and single pure essential oils. And they're all pharmaceutical grade. They're very high constituents. And I just don't think, and we get them, our oils, we get from, our raw materials, we get from ancestral boutique distilleries. So these are really good. Top perfumers in the world bring these oils to their bench, and so do we. In our studio, we give tours, and people come in from all over the country and all over the world to take our tours at our perfumery, and we have a chance to create things for them and create products to put in our studio to get a feel of if it's a good product, that we can then go forward to package it and then give it to our dealers and know that it's a good product and it sells.
Wow.
Well,
Your products are very universal. And as a woman, a mom, a wife, a horse owner, and a gift giver, I guess you have me completely covered. And I think that's a huge benefit to your retailers because your products are not, say, seasonal. They're year-round products. They can be given for great gifts for Christmas or birthdays or anniversaries, yet they're products that we use every day. As a woman, I use perfume every day, or as a man, they may as well. But when you incorporate the horse products or say the bug spray, which is an extreme interest for me with my 2-year-old to use an all-natural product on her, your products are just a very wide range that would be a huge benefit to your retailers. And not only that, but with the beautiful designs on your bottles, that would make for a very beautiful display as well in the stores.
Yes, thank you. And we designed our bottles, bringing up the bottles. We worked with Pierre Denon. He was retired. He did all the famous bottles of the last century up through beautiful, all of Yves Saint Laurent's, all of Calvin Klein's. We worked together over in Paris, and he designed the first cowgirl and cowboy bottle in the world for us because we wanted to bring our fragrances to another level. And so if you look closely at our fragrance bottles, you'll see that they're stirrups.
Yes.
The design is a stirrup. Cool. And we launched our men's collection. We brought it to the new packaging, the new stirrup, just this fall.
Wow.
And it's really selling well. It's doing excellent. And we did bring out a new fragrance for the guys. It's called Blue Ridge, and it's really a beautiful, very, very nice. And we can tell when the men come in to do the tours, there's usually more women than men, but it's amazing how they gravitate over to our Wild West for guys, for the cowboy, the Stampede, the Blue Ridge, the Sagebrush. They love it. They really just love it. Yeah.
Sure. And your products would work in a lot of different kind of stores too. I obviously specifically first think of a Western store that has clothing, but also horse products, but then also would go beautifully in women's boutiques. I can even see it in outdoor retail locations, outdoorsman type stores. So I just think that there's a lot of huge benefits for your retailers.
Yes, yeah, and there are, and so we do. It's very diverse in the different retailers that we sell to, and another group is tourism. We went from doing the WESA show. We had buyers come in that were buying for tourism. Down in the Smoky Mountains, in Florida, the Rocky Mountain area, in California. And what we found is that in the tourist areas, or people would buy it, come across it when they were on vacation, they get it, they come home, they wanted to know where to get it, where to find Annie Oakley. And so they would hop on our website, or way back when, they'd write us letters, and then we would find a store and tell them where the store was. And we still do that. we still get phone calls. We still get letters written to us. But we got boxes and boxes of letters, from way back when there wasn't the internet and email. But they'll get on the store locator, and they want to find where they can find a store near them. And so what was really very neat is that we would go to WESA and go to the show, and the stores would come in and tell us, we had these people come in and they didn't even know we were here, and that this Western store was even available, and they came to get Annie Oakley. And that just thrilled us to Blueberry Hill. I mean, I'm telling you, we just loved it, and we made that connection. And it does take that connection between the manufacturer, the consumer, and the dealer. We're just all in this together. And we love sending, the consumer to the dealers. Yeah.
I think you told me when we were chatting, you also have an international market now.
We do. We actually, the first show we did in Denver, we sold international.
Well, I think that's great. Now, some of our guests on this show have been relatively new to WESA. Not all, but several have been new, and that's one of the things we liked about it. But as you and I talked, you're kind of a veteran of marketing to and through WESA. Why don't you chat a bit about how that experience has been?
Well, I'm a woman, and when I first went to the first show at WESA, there was only another woman vendor there. And it was very interesting. I mean, I loved it. And everybody was very welcoming and helpful. The guys were great and very supportive. And as the years went on, the support was terrific. And I was able to find sales reps, and sales reps would come to us to carry our line. And we grew it. We grew our company through the WESA market. And then from the equine, selling to the equine, as I mentioned, WESA then, more stores came in for tourism, and then we began to, get it out more and more in tourism. So, and then that in turn brought more customers to our equine dealers. So we sold to the tack stores when they may have had like accessories back there, or like maybe some belts or buckles. But other than that, they sold like feed, like the little feed stores or tack stores. And they would come to me and they go, "Are you kidding me? Perfume?" And I said, "I'm telling you, I'll guarantee it. You'll blow it out of your stores." And they did. And so we grew to where we are today.
I noticed on your website, Renee, about your tours. I clicked on that just to read a little more, but why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your studio tours?
Oh, the studio tours, they're wonderful. We have buses come in from all over the country, and we have smaller groups too that will be friends groups that'll come. They'll book tours. And when they come in, they hear the history, how we began. And they also get a little bit information on, the marketing part of it, the design part of it. And we actually give them a sensory tour. So the sensory tour gives them like the different top notes and middle notes and bottom notes. And then they're able to go to the mixing bar, and then they can create their own. And so we let them just have their smells, their smeller, their nose, go to the things that they like. And then we take those items, because of our oils are so pure, any of them can be blended together. And there's no right or wrong reason, or there's no right or wrong answer in blending them together. And pretty much we hit it 95% of the time. We'll take it back to our lab. We've got 2 labs, and we have our alcohol room. But we can't take them to our alcohol room because of OSHA. But in our labs, we'll go and blend them in the lab, and then they can take home something different. And this is how I try to be here as much as I can, during tours, and then work the lab, because it's amazing what they come up with and create. And they'll give me ideas for the next product. So I've got a whole list of products that I want to launch. I haven't launched them yet. We have some of them in the studio, and they're selling quite well. So we'll get ready to start doing the packaging and the labeling with that. But they really have a great time. They all leave very happy, and you can tell on our Facebook page. They just really have a good time.
Renee, real quick, people who are listening to this and say, "Gee, that sounds like something I'd like to do," you might tell everybody where you're located.
We are located in the northeastern part of Indiana, up around the Amish, in Ligonier, Indiana. We're between Fort Wayne and South Bend.
Okay, because I think a lot of our listeners might say, "Gee, I'd like to do that." So we thought better add in exactly how to find you.
Oh, yeah. They'll have fun. It's a nice. We have people all over the country just come just to see us, and actually we've had quite a few people around the world that have come to see us and take the tour. We call it a sensory tour. It's our sensory tour, and they really enjoy it.
Well, I would imagine they do. It's an interesting company, an interesting history, an interesting relationship with WESA. We could talk about it for a long, long time, but you've been very gracious with your time and given us an awful lot of information. If there's any last thing you'd like to add, now is the time to do it. But we don't want to take your entire day because you may have a tour going on.
Today it's quiet for the first time for a while. It's kind of quiet, but we do have some exciting things that are going to happen for the WESA Denver 2019. We have really great Facebook ads and giveaways that we're going to be offering the dealers so they can go out and promote the line and the new products. And I think they're going to be very happy with the results.
Well, that sounds really important.
Yes, we really like to support our dealers through our website, through promotions, the giveaways, and of course the loyalty of our consumers. We have a lot of consumers that are very loyal to the Annie Oakley brand.
Well, and obviously without consumers, nobody's anywhere. You can create great products and have great retailers, but the consumer needs to step up and purchase those products and talk about those products, or any business who is relying on that distribution channel ceases to exist. So I think you've obviously done a great job in working with your retailers and a great job of giving them products that the consumer wants. And those are the kind of stories we like to tell here on Wisdom by WESA. So we really do thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Denver.
Okay, that sounds great. I look forward to seeing you too. And thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you so much for being with us.
Bye-bye.
The show notes and the links from today's show are available at wisdombywesa.com. And we'd love to hear your feedback. There's a contact link on the Wisdom by WESA website.
The Wisdom by WESA show will be published on the 15th and the 30th of every month. You can listen to our show on most of your favorite podcast players. You can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. Just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and it's super easy to use. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Thanks for listening to the Wisdom by WESA podcast. WESA, where the industry meets.